Grace and peace. It's time. I'm looking for dispensational Tim. I'm looking for Little Mother. I'm looking for Jay the producer and Bishop Sister.
Be involved in politics. If I only have 1 minute with someone to explain or answer that question, I take out my iPhone and I show them this picture. What picture is this? This is the Korean Peninsula. You can see North Korea is here, South Korea is down here. You see Seoul. That, of course, is the capital of South Korea. Now, the Korean Peninsula is predominantly, as you know, made up of Koreans, a homogeneous population. You can see the border between South and North Korea, the well-fortified border, separates the two countries. Now, if you look at South Korea, you see South Korea is filled with light. It's filled with productivity. It's filled with the gospel. It's one of the most Christianized countries in the world. North Korea, on the other hand, is dark. It's a concentration camp. There's essentially one major reason for the difference between South and North Korea. What's the major difference or the major reason for the difference? Anyone? Freedom in the South, communism in the North. You can sum that up in one word. What's the word? Politics. Politics. Why the difference between South and North Korea? The one major reason is politics. You have political freedom and democracy in the South, and you don't have political freedom. You have a dictatorship, a communist dictatorship, essentially a concentration camp in the North. Now, I hear all the time Christians saying, we ought not get involved in politics. We just got to preach. We just have to preach the gospel. That's what we need to do. Now, I'm all for preaching the gospel, and I know you guys are for that too. And I know people out there watching are for that too. But if you don't think politics are important, you don't think preaching the gospel is important.
Is that true? Should we be involved in politics? Where's Jay the producer? I put the link out there. Where is Jay the producer? Should we be involved in politics? Should believers vote?
Just look at this map. Look at this satellite imagery of the Korean Peninsula at night. Can you preach the gospel in North Korea? No, you can't. If you don't think politics are important, you don't think the gospel is important. Because you can't preach the gospel in North Korea. Why? Because politically, they've ruled it out. You can go to some of the countries I've been to. Saudi Arabia, China, Iran. You can't do what we're doing in this room right now and over the airwaves right now in those countries. Why not? Because politically, they've ruled it out. In fact, if you think about this, not only does politics affect the gospel, politics affects virtually everything we do. Think about this. Politics affects your church, your children, your health, your money, your business, your freedom, your property, your school, your home, your security, your safety, the poor, the unborn, virtually everyone and everything. The rules that are made in Washington, the rules that are made in your state and local governments affect what we do every day. How many businessmen do we have in here right now? Raise your hand. Do you think that politics affects whether or not you can do business and how you do it? It affects it every day. The church, does politics affect the church? Yes, it does. Politics affects what we even say from our pulpit. You say, well, no, Frank, you're overstating the case because, Jesus was not involved in politics. Was he? Yeah, he was. Often overlooked. Who did Jesus go after the most in the New Testament? Pharisees. And who are the Pharisees? The Pharisees were the religious, and get this, political leaders of Israel.
Go ahead, Bishop. I'm going to stop this right here.
People.
Hey, grace and peace.
You don't think Jesus was in politics, and you think Jesus
Dispensation Tim, go ahead. You got the microphone.
Yeah. Grace and peace. I'm gonna start out by this saying this. I was informed by some of the comments that were made in the comment section, and I want to go back in history and how I became a partaker in the panel of the Brother Berean channel I was called out by Berean based on comments I used to make in the comments section. Now I don't know if this brother have ever been on Brother Berean's panel, but this guy KL, I heard I was informed, he said he had a whole lot of salty stuff to say about me in the chat. And I want to challenge him to come on the panel for one reason. I want to see how informative he is, because it's easy to make statements in the chat. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to make a little bit of statements in the chat and sound like you just know it all and you just criticizing everything one particular person has to say. Come on the panel and let's test your metal, brother. I'm calling you out, KL, because I be honest with you. Let me just put it like that. I think you're a simpleton. I really do. But you may be the smartest white man on the panel. I mean, in the chat. I don't know. Come on and come join me. KL, I think you're a simpleton, but prove me wrong. It's easy to make a little Tim don't believe this. You're a liar. That's what you are, because you won't come on a panel and prove whether I believe this or that. So KL, bring your simple self on the panel, brother. You might be the smartest white man in the chat for all I know, but we'll see. But anyways, I do want to start out with this. I don't know if you'll be able to share my screen. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here. No, this one. Yeah. If you're able, share my screen real quick. Let's see. Okay, let me play it real quick.
Celebration at the White House filled with shallow symbolism over substance. Just finished a Black History Month celebration at the White House filled with shallow symbolism over substance. I expect nothing less from Trump, but the reaction from the mostly Black audience in the East Room of the White House was embarrassingly disconnected from recent history. Trump walked on stage with legendary Black golfer Tiger Woods, who once told Oprah Winfrey he described himself as Cablinasian, and he spent a good deal of his time shouting out to the Black Republicans in the audience. But those East Room Black people were either in deep denial or deep REM sleep in the past few months. No one in the audience questioned why Trump's Secretary of Defense.
First of all, it's amazing that Tiger Woods would be at a Black History Month celebration, being the fact that he claimed that he wasn't Black. And he made that claim a few years ago. I actually saw it a lot. I think it was on the Oprah Winfrey show. It was about a decade or so ago, where he claimed that he's not even Black. As a matter of fact, if you look at Tiger Woods' presentation, he don't even look like he's comfortable being there. It looked like somebody tricked him into being there, like he was going to get an award, and next thing you know, he walked in and saw a bunch of Black people cheering, celebrating Black History Month. Now, this is what I was talking about yesterday. I learned what the word fugazi was from Brother Berean. While President Trump is getting rid of dropping Black History Month in all federal programs, or all programs that are funded by the feds, including the federal government. He's getting rid of anything that has anything to do with Black History Month or this, that, and the other, while at the same time having a Black History Month celebration at the White House. And I know it's annual, so he had to do it. So what he did, he got a lot of the members of our community who's anti-Black culture and got them together and celebrate Black History Month. That's the reason why this brother has a problem with it.
Defense canceled Black History Month events at the Pentagon or removed the Tuskegee Airmen video from Air Force training. No one complained about Trump revoking the 1965 executive order that banned racial discrimination in government employment and by government contractors. No one objected to Trump's recent attempt to blame a tragic airplane crash on diversity, equity, and inclusion, or his administration.
Now, if anybody and this is what I want to challenge people with. If anybody can make sense of some of the things that Trump is saying, please try do so on the panel, because I'm gonna put it like this. People when they try to debunk things that people like I say this, that, they, first of all, they'll go into conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other. I want them to deal with what Trump is actually doing. That's what some of you so-called debunkers are not doing. You're not dealing with what Trump is doing. We're making the accusation, but then you'll come on and start talking about something totally different. Well, do you know this? Do you know? No, stick. What does DEI have to do with a plane crash? Explain that to me. I'm slow when it comes to this Trump love. I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't understand it. I need somebody to help me out. Explain to me, what does DEI have to do with the plane crash? That's number one. If you come on the panel and talk to me, explain to me what they got to do with anything.
He's banned on DEI throughout the federal government, and no one mentioned Trump's ongoing throughout the federal government, and no one mentioned, or his administration's ban on DEI throughout the federal government, and no one mentioned Trump's ongoing effort to repeal the 14th Amendment, which gave Black people birthright citizenship in 1868. As long as they got this,
and that's a big one right there, birthright citizenship. That is a constitutional right. That's according to the Constitution, and that's the reason why we say he's trying to break norms in this country, because he's doing things that goes up against the Constitution. Like I say, he broke the emoluments clause in his last go around, his last 4 years in office. And these things are not being addressed by the Trump lovers. We always get the questions. Now it's time for the Trump lovers to get questioned. And that's what I would do. But unfortunately, I can't stay on long today because I have too many classes I got to deal with. But I just want to throw this out there as far as Brother Berean's channel is concerned. It's time that the questioners get questioned. Because there is a lot of people that pretend they know stuff, and if you ask them a question, they'll get tripped up. And I think the one person who did it or done it a couple of times know who I'm talking about. I know how to use AI. I know how to use, put something in the search engine real quick. Somebody asks me, put something in the search engine and act like I know the answer. I'm hip to all of that. I don't do that because really it just takes up too much of my time. But it's time for the debunkers to get debunked. You know what I'm saying? Or should I say be questioned and let them explain some of these specific issues that I'm bringing up, and not just be shooting from the hip. We always let these people get away with questioning us. Got something for us. Why don't you answer our questions? Because if you don't answer our questions, whatever you got it's not going anywhere with us.
Smile in front of the white man in the White House. The East Room Black people were all good. The East Room Black people never dared to challenge Trump when he diminished the Black scholars who put together the 1619 Project, which traced the history of the first enslaved Black people brought to the colonies by the British.
The last administration tried to reduce all of American history to a single year. 1619, we're like 7.
That's the biggest lie. Trying to I put all Black American history into 1 year, 1619. Y'all's president is lying. I got it right here on tape. He wasn't. No. Let me play it again. What he said before somebody come up here and try to reframe what the argument is or what he said.
1619, we're like 1770. To a single year, 1619, we're like 17. To reduce all of administration tried. The last administration tried to reduce all of American history to a single year. 1619, we're like 1770.
Nope, that's not what happened. The Biden-Harris administration didn't write or invent the 1619 Project. They just acknowledged its importance in American history. And none of the East Room black people appeared to raise an eyebrow when Trump told them he wanted immigrants to come to the U.S. as long as they came here legally, while never discussing his racist new federal policy that allows only white South Africans to come to America. But
all right, dealing with apartheid, the reverse of apartheid in South Africa. So the white citizens who lost their land to the black citizens who their land stolen before apartheid, Donald Trump is making offerings to the white citizenry in South Africa to become Americans. It's just as simple as that. That needs to be explained.
Punishes black people in that country. No one even checked him when he lied that he punishes black people in the federal policy that allows only white South Africans to come to America, but punishes black people in that country. No one even checked him when he lied that he won 40% of the black vote in 2024.
Almost 40% of the vote.
Instead of the 13% that he actually got. Never mind the 95% of the black vote he promised he would get 8 years ago.
That I will get over 95% of the African American vote.
No one asked why he just eliminated an environmental justice program that provided 40% of the benefits from federal climate investments to black and brown communities. No one seemed bothered that he just pardoned 2 police officers convicted in the murder of a black man in Washington and gave clemency to 1,500 insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Trump's only black cabinet member, HUD Secretary Scott Turner, told the East Room black people,
And you can guarantee that every day that I'm going to lay it down for the people of America.
I wish that were true, but at his confirmation hearing in January, he couldn't even lay it down for the black people facing racial discrimination and home appraisals.
Well, I do commit to upholding the law as it is on the book against all illegal discrimination,
including appraisal bias.
We will continue to look.
Y'all look up appraisal bias. Look it up. Learn about it.
Into that, and I look forward to working with you on that and become more well studied. Thank you.
And just this week, a new report indicates HUD is actually cutting the program that fights home appraisal bias.
We are in the presence of the greatest president of all time.
It's like the East Room.
The greatest president of all time, based on what?
Black people live in an alternative universe where Trump didn't just spend the last year lying about the first black vice president's racial identity or making up ridiculous allegations that Haitian immigrants were eating dogs and cats.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
The East Room black people have
That's an ongoing joke in my house. You know, they're using them for food. You idiot!
I love
somehow
that.
created a
I
miraculous
love that.
of dissonance that allows them to believe that the
I
most
love that.
racist president in modern American history is actually somehow their hero just because he let them come into the White House. That's a shockingly low bar. Nope. No.
Yep. Now this came up yesterday, and I don't know where people are missing on this information, but Trump has been touting the fact that he could do 4 more years. And not only that, his imps are working on something right now, trying to find a loophole to where he's able to run again. But then I've heard from the other side that if this be the case, which you can't, it's against the Constitution. But right now you can't really say what can and cannot happen. So, you know, just in case they find some type of loophole, from what I understand, Obama would be running against them. So that's that.
Well, thanks. It's only been 4 weeks, and that's already long enough.
All right. Now, like I said, my issue is, why don't we answer some of the things that some of the questions that those of us who do have something against Obama, not Obama, I keep on calling that man Obama. Those of us who do have something against Trump, why don't y'all answer some of our questions? Y'all always have questions for us. You always try to put our feet to the fire. Let's put your feet to the fire and see if you actually understand some of the things that he's implementing. or is this just you know, are people just making comments? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Brian, I don't know how long.
I'm here at the 10. I'm here at the 10. This
Okay.
is Leo and Pastor Jay here too.
Oh, okay.
But so
Yeah.
what's some questions you have? What's some questions you have?
The first one, we're dealing with holidays, right? Should wait, what's the question? Should we should blacks, let me see, what's the question? You can go back out.
Remember you said
should believers,
yeah, go ahead.
Should believers participate in the economic blackout? Well, I'm doing that right now. I'm
Good right
participating
there.
right
Hold on,
now.
before Pastor Jay even come on, I wish Leah would answer what you saying, Bishop. I wish Leah would say,
Yeah.
so I'm from Detroit.
Yeah, I want to know what your take is as far as participating in the economic blackout.
So from what I've read, there are two of them going on. One headed up by Jamal Harrison Bryan and a few others. That's doing it for, what is it, 40 days, 30 days, from specific businesses. And then also there's the one for today. I would say I'm not partaking in it because 24 hours, I haven't really seen any economists that is behind this saying the impact that would happen to these businesses. I think it's just more of an idea. Let's just see what happens if we boycott these specific businesses, and what of our specific claims that we're looking for. Have we presented them, emailed them? Have we sent them to these businesses before this has happened? Or is this more of a reactionary thing? Is let's see what happens, and then let's talk. And now, who are we bringing to the table? Are we bringing these? Are we bringing Jamal Harrison Bryan to the table? Al Sharpton, Ben Crump? Like who's being brought to the table to have discussions with these companies after this has happened? That's kind of what I'm trying to. I mean, Mac, are you saying they're already feeling it? Where are you getting that from?
Well, see, here's the deal. I'm not really getting into the characters that are involved. I'm getting into the monies that do the talking, because here's the deal. And I'm not participating in no 30 days of nothing. Me myself, I don't really know anything about that. I'm just participating in the one for the day. The whole point is to show that these companies who are taking away their DEI programs and this, that, and the other. The whole point is to show them that our monies count. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand. Just like anything else, we don't expect y'all to participate. But if enough of us participate, it's gonna make a difference. And the reason we know that, because of course it happened in the 60s as far as busing is concerned. And that's the criteria we're using to implement this plan. And not only that, Target is already feeling it to the point to where the daughters of the late Target owner is asking Target to reverse their decision to take away the DEI programs, because it's having a significant hit on their bottom line as far as their monies is concerned. So it's already been proven to work. And like I said, we're not expecting all of no, Leo. Let's what did I just say? What did I just say about how much? Let me ask you a question, Leo. How much money have Target lost due to the fact that blacks have decided to take away their monies? You tell me, since you know everything, tell me how much money they lost.
I don't say I know everything. I just say I don't think that's necessarily true in terms of the stock price. It's not. It hasn't even reached the low since November 20th. November 20th, they had already bounced already since then. That was their low for the last 6 months. Target.
Let me pull it up. Let me pull
November 20th has been their November 20th.
I'm talking about January, brother. I'm talking about January 20 as of January 28th. There are plenty, and like I said, I'm say this again. The daughters of the listen to what I'm saying. No. You're trying to reframe the argument. I'm not going to let you do that. The daughters
lost money. Yes, go ahead.
That's okay. It works, like I said. Now, let's not reframe the argument. And the reason why we know it works, because the daughters of the late owner is asking Target to retrieve or apologize for this for pulling back on DEI programs because it's hitting them economically. I think they have a loss of $15 billion or something. I think that's the number, 15 billion. You know what I'm saying? It could be 15 million. I'm not sure. I got to pull it up, but it's a major loss. Huh? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't hear what you said. What?
I'm reading the Associated Press. They have the article about the daughters you're speaking to.
Yeah,
the daughters of one of the co-founders. They're not. I mean, I know that you said the dollar might not be there. They're not necessarily saying that, but they do have claims. Say, hey, let's reconsider our position. But this has been since you said end of January.
No. That's
what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
I haven't given. See, I notice how you try to reframe things, and it's not working because if you're gonna pull up an article, just read the whole thing and don't don't philosophize. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, you just proved what because you didn't know anything about the daughters' complaints. Now you just pulled it up.
It's about the stock market. That's what I was bringing up.
It's about the bottom. It's about the bottom line, brother. It's about the bottom. What's the bottom line? They lost $15 billion.
Billion? I don't see that.
That's the bottom line. Whether it's about the stock market or not, I don't care what it's about. I stick to what I'm saying. Stick to my argument. I said, help me out. You're trying to reframe the argument.
Like I'm not trying to. I don't hold your position. You saying I don't hold your position. I don't hold your position. You saying help you. I don't hold your position. I don't necessarily think.
I didn't ask you whether you held my position. I don't hold your position either. But still, facts are facts. You can't change the facts.
You said help. You said help me out. That's what you just said.
No, I said help me understand why listen. You just brought up the article because I just mentioned it and you just pulled it up. It's something that you didn't know from until I mentioned it.
Daughters of Target's
listen. You know what? Yesterday, people got mad because I was interrupting you, but they don't never say anything when you interrupt me. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Daughters of Target's late co-founder raised concern over companies' pullback on DEI. Now, read the whole thing, and we don't need to philosophize and this, that, and the other. Read the whole thing. There's a reason why they have concerns. You know what I'm saying? And it's in the article. I read this article, as a matter of fact. So my point is this. Only thing they're trying to prove today is black dollars work. If we pull back our monies, you got to hit people where it hurts. And like I said, we're not asking all of y'all to participate. But only thing is, if enough of us participate, they gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying?
And what's the what's the result that people are trying to get from doing this? I guess that's my question. Like
the result is if you're not gonna respect black culture, you don't expect to get dollars from black culture.
And is this about blackness? Is this about blackness?
Yeah. This is about because see the DEI programs that they're pulling back, they use that against us. Like I said, a lot of people say, well, white women are the ones who, and be honest with you, Berean, this is just the beginning. They're using us as lab rats. They're using black folks as lab rats. This is actually an attack on the middle class because my man, JT Mack, sent me something today about how Elon Musk, I wish he could come on and explain it because I didn't know that. How Elon Musk is receiving monies, for I can't remember what it's some type of program that Elon Musk trying to implement and receive monies and something I can't remember right now. But only thing I'm saying is this. This is about the middle class. This is about the rich. This is about the 1%. The 1% is pulling the wool over the people's eyes. They're trying to get rid of the working middle class. You know what I'm saying? It says the daughters of one of the co-founders of Target are expressing their alarm and shock at the discounters.
Read dispensational term.
Great number of DEI efforts was to push LGBT initiatives. Of course it was. But I'm not talking. But see, let's not confuse the argument. I'm not down with the LGBT. I'm looking out for my own pocketbook right now. Ain't nothing LGBT in my household. But every check I get is from the government. Let me put myself on Front Street real quick. Now you took the article down. Where that article go? Oh man, where the article go, bro? I'm finna read it. But listen, ain't nothing LGBTQ in my house, Elder Mike. But when the bottom line affects my paycheck, I'm gonna speak about it. This ain't got nothing to do with LGBTQUVCLH, whatever. See, and it says the daughters of one of the founders of Target are expressing their alarm and shock at the discounter's recent moves to roll back its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. That okay, all right, nope, never mind.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna read it because you keep taking it off. I don't care.
All right, cool. So this is my thing. Well, first of all, just to answer everybody, of course, I have nothing to do with the one for today or the one for that Jamal Bryant's talking about. It's really a waste of time. One, they're trying to.
No,
force
it's not.
That's well, if you've done it in the past and you still got to do it again because you ain't got your way the first time that they did it and it worked.
We did get our way. We got affirmative action. We got civil rights. We got the Civil Rights Bill of 1964. We got the Voting Rights Bill of 1965. So it worked in the past.
Yeah, and you got all these things, and now post those things, you're still having to do these same things again to try to get what you want because somebody got more power than you to take it away or to give it. But the point that I'm making is that yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with either one of them. I believe it's a waste of time. The reason why I believe it's a waste of time is because if you're going to hold back, first let me start here. Let me start with the real reason. Is because anytime that you try to force someone's hands to make a decision, that's called manipulation. So I don't believe that Christians are particularly manipulative practices and tactics to try to force the hand of someone to give them what they want. So that's why I have nothing to do with it. Now, number two on top of that,
can you give me a chapter and verse?
If you're going to hold back your monies to show them what power you got, okay, let's say they decide to do the stall game. Y'all two just stall each other. You hold back your money for how long ever they don't give you what you want. Now, let's say they say, hey, we ain't going to give you what you want. The black people that are trying to show how much power their dollars got don't even have an infrastructure to fall back on if the other side that they want to show they got so much spending power with, if that side decide to stall them. So then your community will suffer even more because you don't have the fall back. Just like with the economic thing for today, right? 24 hours, but it starts at midnight when most businesses are closed anyway. So for half of the protest, where you going to go to buy anything anyway, especially if you're talking about local and small businesses. Then during the day, when people are buying stuff, you only want to buy local or small, and then you can't buy from any of the more convenient places right down the road from you for the things for your family, because you want to show those bigger businesses that got way more money than you will affect, and they're just in the business, and the people who work there, who's scratching paycheck to paycheck, they're going to suffer because of your efforts to show how much power you have.
Well, do you know how many people suffer? Do you know how many people suffer because of the DEI programs being cut? Do you know how many jobs have been cut so far? People suffering, because if suffering is the bottom line, if suffering is what you're worried about, and you'll be on our side. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, there's going to be suffering on both sides, but woe to the person who does the evil and cause somebody to suffer.
What you call evil may not be evil. What you call evil may be a good. What you call good may be evil.
Because here's the thing: you don't even need a DEI for someone to hire someone based on their credentials. That program is just there with the idea that it's supposed to basically make sure that there's fairness across the board, but people have been sidestepping this stuff for a long time. But the point is that because if they weren't, then people wouldn't be complaining about it now. But the point is that the infrastructure don't even exist among the black community, that if the other side decide to stall and pull back their services from you because you want to put back your money from them, then who's going to be the people that suffer? The Target owners or you?
Do you not see this article in your face?
Yes. Daughters of political founders.
Read
Target
it.
I'm about to read right
Read the whole thing.
That's green, right?
Well, I was trying to read it, but it kept disappearing. But you got to read the whole thing to understand. You got to understand what shareholders are concerned about. Pastor Jay, do you understand what makes shareholders move? Money.
Yes, it does.
Do you understand what makes shareholders move? Money.
Yes.
The shareholders and when the shareholders see
hold on, that's my bad. Let Pastor Mike get the microphone. I'll be right back.
When shareholders see that the companies are losing money, they expect changes because the money is the bottom line for the shareholders. So the point is to hit them in their bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point, and it's working because we see that here Target is already crying. The daughters of the owner is already crying because it's hitting their bottom line. It's right here in your face. You see that it's working now, but whether it works or not, it's amazing. All of a sudden, y'all got questions for me. I thought I was going to ask the question. First question I want to know is, did y'all have a problem with black people appearing at the White House to celebrate Black History Month? That's my question for y'all before y'all start jumping on me talking about LGBT. Look, ain't a gay bone in my body, so that ain't got nothing to do with me. But at the same time, gay people have to eat too. You know what I'm saying?
You go ahead, Elder Mike. Maybe you turned this mic off. Yeah, whenever you get that working, you can go ahead, Elder Mike. Yeah, so
you didn't answer the question though, Jay. Do you have a problem with people celebrating Black History Month?
Yeah.
You do. So when they showed up at the White House, was do you call that an evil?
Yeah, it's foolishness.
Is it evil though?
Yeah,
is it
got the event? What are they doing out there? What they got going on?
Come on. Well, why is it evil? See, you said it's evil. That's one. Okay, maybe
it's not a holy gathering. Look at what they are celebrating, who they are celebrating. There's a whole bunch of corruption that goes on at this stuff. I mean, come on, man.
So every gathering you've been to ever has been a holy gathering.
I'm talking about the one you asking about.
Nah, I'm talking about you, period. You the one labeled it evil.
I mean, listen, if I went to visit my family and they having a family reunion, they got corruption going on, and it's a corruption that's going on at the gathering. It just is what it is. It's not just because it's Black History Month. That doesn't mean that it's just holy and good. It's got to see what the people are doing, what they're celebrating. In that, they, obviously they're celebrating those who broken God's law in the past. I brought it up yesterday about Nat Turner lying to people during slavery, but this is one of the things that
hey, can y'all hear me?
And so it just depends.
Can y'all hear me?
But yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, Pastor J. So Elder Tim, so you see the screen. This article is from February 14th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what boycott that happened during February 14th or before it?
No. This is a response to the Target's decision to pull all their DEI programs.
Yeah, but I'm saying you said the comments, the daughters made comments, but I'm saying who did a boycott to trigger these comments? This came from February.
No. It wasn't a planned boycott. Somebody made a list came out of companies that were pulling their DEI program, and black folks reacted. And that's how they reacted, by pulling their dollars. If you listen to Roland Martin, who else?
I listen to Roland. I listen to Roland, but Roland doesn't.
If you
Roland
listen to
didn't talk
Roland,
about what
then
happened
you.
yesterday. I'm saying I'm aware. I'm well aware. I'm well aware. Like I listen to Roland almost weekly. I don't listen to him daily.
Well,
but
Roland Martin is one of those who was calling for black folks to pull their money from these programs. And Target,
But this is what I want to show. Like, do you see my screen? I'm about to play something from Detroit that Roland Martin, I think, is going to talk about. He talked about it a little bit. But this is a protest that happened in Detroit. It's in Southfield, Michigan. This is a protest. Now, do you notice something about the protest? These are all black folks in Southfield. They're going to buy all black-owned products in Target.
Yeah.
So my question is, how does this hurt Target's bottom line?
The daughters told you.
It's a black. That's my old pastor right there, by the way. Go ahead.
You want me to answer?
Go ahead.
It hurts their bottom line when they lose money. The shareholders don't care. The shareholders care nothing about the protests or non-protests. They care about money. Now, wait a minute, brother. You asked me to answer the question. Then you want me? Okay. We interrupting each other, so it don't matter. It don't matter.
Yeah,
I'm interrupting Pastor Jay.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
But
go ahead,
listen.
Go ahead.
The shareholders cares nothing about nothing but the bottom line. This protest here was because of this young lady who has a product she's trying to sell in Target. They went to buy her stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm fine and good with that. You know what I mean? But if you look at the overall effect of what the DEI rollbacks meant to black people, you'll see black people start taking their black monies away, and all of a sudden they $15 billion in the hole. And the shareholders, that's all they care about is money. They want to see some changes. And even if that change is to bring back these DEI programs. Now I want, let me. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, but I was trying to showcase, like, they are still here. This is February 23rd. They are still supporting Target.
Yeah, but a video is not. One video is not going to show. One video is not going to show you the bottom line of their monies. If you kept reading that article, it's going to tell you how much money that they lost.
Yeah, but it's not. This is not in relationship to any boycott that has happened from black people. In this,
no, you're not understanding. You're not understanding, Leo. There was overall, black folks decided not to go shopping at Target. It wasn't a boycott like you see a bunch of people in the streets. We're not talking about that. Let's stick to facts. The fact is, black people start targeting Target. It's all over the place. You can't.
Where's the data? Where is the data? Roland doesn't show the data.
The data. What? I mean, what? Let me ask you a question. Be specific. What data are you looking for?
That black people stop shopping at Target.
They did. Oh, Lord have mercy, bro. You know what amazes me? I have to come on here. I have to come on here.
Roland is not. Roland is not good at data.
I have to come on here and prove the obvious, because apparently either you're not paying attention to what's going on today, or you're just trying to trip me up, and neither one of them is going to work, because the bottom line is the pulling back of DEI programs has affected Target's bottom line. That's just the truth. Now read the article, because the daughters of the late owner of Target will tell you that it did.
Yeah, I believe that people withdraw their money. It will definitely affect the bottom line, because they're not selling as many goods. But my thing is, though, is the people go right back. So the point is, the whole point of the not buying from them is to show them your power, but they just stall you out and you go back and continue to give your monies to them, and they still ain't reinstituted this program. So then
how do you know they ain't?
I ain't say they not. I said they have not yet. so
okay.
It's on them,
but we don't know
the bottom lines. They're still in business, and you've gone back. So my point is what's these people that you're trying to affect? You're not stalling out against the cashier. and the people who work honest living and don't even got an involvement with whether a program is established or not, you're fighting people you don't even know what they look like half the time, or would never sit in a room with them. You're fighting with these people who's already have generational wealth that even if they close Target itself, you're the one that's going to suffer, not them. Yeah, they might lose Target. They'll start another business like multiple investments. So, and the business that's rolling back these programs, you use every day. So, and so with that being the point, it's a pointless endeavor, because all it's going to do by you kind of force the hand by affecting their bottom line so much is that you're going to just irritate them. And even if they reinstitute DEI, that's not going to guarantee your fair treatment, because just like with any law, there's always a way to circumvent it. So what are you really concerned about? People viewing you the right way and treating you the way you supposed to be treated, or just having some writing on a paper that say they should treat you a certain way? Like, what do you want?
Hey, Pastor Jay, what's the
solution? Oh, go ahead, brother.
What's the solution then?
The solution to what?
I'm just talking about for what? I'm not for me. I'm just talking about for what Elder Tim talking about. What's the solution for them there? Because you got a problem with what they're doing. What's the solution?
Yeah, the solution for Christians is to continue to shop, get your food from wherever the Lord allow you to get it, what you can afford, get God's things and eat. You're gonna be, you don't have to strive and try to show I got so much power in my dollars to affect your bottom line, because at the end of the day, you can't only think about yourself, because you're affecting, through your demonstration, you're affecting innocent people who has nothing to do with it. And if Target was to close, how many people would lose their jobs?
And how many of them?
So if you were concerned about if you were concerned about innocent people, if you're concerned, hold on. Let's speak about
who can care less.
Well, let's speak about Doge and how many innocent people then lost their jobs as far as Doge is concerned, because more people have been affected by Doge, which is part of the protest, protesting Elon Musk, who is not an elected official, cutting and slashing people's jobs left and right. Do you see a problem with the implementation of Doge? I didn't hear you.
I believe there's a lot of corruption going on up there with Elon and all those other things. And
thank you.
Can I speak to that too?
Yeah,
go ahead, Pastor. But Marcel, you can go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, to answer the Brother Israel the Senate question is, I'm only really concerned about the believing Black community and the church, not the unbelieving communities, because God has wrath against those who continue to war with him, and he's going to make life harder for them. And the way that he's going to make life harder for them who continue to war with him is he's going to move the hearts of kings and rulers to make certain decisions that, yes, we as innocent bystanders, meaning believers, are going to share in the suffering. But just like we see in the scriptures, when the righteous prophets went into captivity with Israel, the Lord sustained them and they survived, whereas the wicked perished. So there's going to be suffering on our account, meaning believers. But the point why we come together is so that we can then share our resources among one another. So let's say by the rolling back of programs, let's say, or they institute new laws that gives privileges to our white brothers and sisters more than it gives to us. We're not to sit and strive about the fact we didn't get a privilege, all right, which can be voted in and voted out. These things are temporary. But instead, the brothers and sisters who have the greater privileges and the Lord blesses their pockets and all these other things, maybe their taxes go low, which means more money in their pockets. And since they got more money in their pocket, here goes some brothers and sisters that lack in here. You all sharing your resources, laying your lives down for one another. Everybody have what they need. And so this is the way that you can stay unified in the midst of suffering, versus you striving with the heathens who can care less about you and God. And then in an attempt to try to show them, well, I got this power, I'll hold it back from you. Okay, where you gonna buy it from? All right, go buy local and small. And at the end of the day, they got to pay taxes too.
You know what, brother? I hear what you're saying. A lot of things you're saying, you're preaching to the choir, because y'all act as if there are not saved people on both sides of the issue. And stop playing with yourself, because there is. a lot of us understand scripture. You know what I mean? And here's the deal. God didn't create us and put us on this earth not to participate. Well, if that's the case, why do you go to work in the morning? Just let God bring you your food. Let God use a raven to bring you your food, since you're so your faith is so strong that you don't have to participate. Well, why go to work?
So, Elder Tim.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think what we're facing too is an issue that we don't know the target audience of our comments. So with like Pastor Jay, you would probably have to frame your argument as an economic fast other than a boycott for him to kind of get what you're trying to do.
Yeah, because I ain't be honest with you, I didn't even call it a boycott. What I was saying was the boycott today is only to and remember, limited. I was talking about this. I tried to bring up the shareholders. That's what I was trying to bring up, but nobody seems to be catching on to that. The shareholders don't care nothing but about the bottom line, money. And when they start losing money, things move. The shareholders, and I'm not talking about stakeholders, I'm talking about the shareholders. You know what I'm saying? All of us are the employees, so those are the stakeholders. Yeah, I understand they're going to get hurt, but some of the programs that the people y'all support are hurting the bottom line of stakeholders as well. But now, what I'm talking about is the fact that if you hit a company where it hurts and their shareholders all of a sudden get hurt, things move, and that's just what that is.
Now, I got a question since we elders up here. When did Christ make use of such tactics to get his way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna give you an answer. When did Christ when did y'all start accepting the fact that you get your money at the end of the week instead of getting paid every day like the Bible tells you to? There's a lot of things that we're not doing according to scripture that if you have a problem with it, well, you should have a problem with getting your paycheck at the end of the week as well, because at the end of your work day, you're supposed to get your funds at the end of the day.
No, Elder Tim, you get your funds when you and the person who hired you agrees. So
exactly at the end, but wait a minute, the Bible doesn't say give you your funds at the Bible. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me I can't pull up a passage that tells you where you're supposed to get your funds at the end of the day?
Yeah, when you complete your work.
Exactly at the end of the day. Right. So only thing I'm doing, I'm showing how your question is not fair, because there's a lot of things that we have to accept that the Bible don't necessarily speak for, but there are certain things I can bring up where the Bible actually speak against, but you accept it.
I'm just asking.
So you're making excuses for it now.
No, I'm asking a question. I believe there's a massive difference between somebody employing manipulative tactics or threats versus somebody making an agreement with somebody else about when they were going to receive payment and how much.
Obviously, there's a difference, but I'm trying to give you a point. The point is, you're trying to say, well, where did Christ say we should protest? That's basically what your question is. I don't even know how to answer that question.
Yeah, but hold on. Can I just jump in real quick? I just want to read this. I thank you for Elder Tim for even referencing this is a quote by Target. I'm gonna read it and just get it out the way because Elder Tim did say we should read it. But I did notice something while reading it. This is the daughters of one of the co-founders of Target. Why does it keep jumping? This is my own computer, so this is not me doing it. It's just jumping off. The daughters of one of the daughters of one of the co-founders of Targets are expressing their alarm and shock at the discounters recent moves to roll back diversity, equity, inclusion incentives that have come under attack from conservatives, activists, and of last month, the White House. In letters to the editor published Thursday in the Financial Times and the Los Angeles Times, Ann and Lucy Dayton said their father, Bruce Dayton, along with his 4 other brothers, expanded the Minneapolis department store into a massive brand that became Target that was built on 2 principles: a focus on the customer and well-being of the community. Bruce died in 2015 at 97. We are alarmed how quickly the business community has given into the current administration's retaliatory threats. The daughters wrote, it is not illegal for a company to create a business model based on what it believes to be important, ethical, and business standards. They added, by cowering, Target and others are undermining the very principles that they had made their company success, that made their companies a success. Target declined to comment. In late January, Target said the changes to this belonging at the bullseye strategy would include ending a program it established to help Black employees build meaningful careers, improve the experience of Black shoppers, and to promote Black-owned businesses while the police killing of George Floyd in 2020. Target, which operates nearly 2,000 stores nationwide and employs more than 400,000 people, said it already had planned to end the racial program this year. The company also said that it would conclude the diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI goals it previously set in 3-year cycles. Walmart, McDonald's, Ford, Goldman Sachs, John Deere, among the other well-known customer brands that reduce or phase out their DEI commitments in recent months. I just wanted to comment. Target declined to comment. So these daughters are not stakeholders or anything, are they? Are they just
No, they're
descendants
not
of the founder?
stakeholders. They're shareholders. They're not stakeholders. They're shareholders.
They're shareholders. So why
Meaning
isn't
that
Target commenting?
because Target don't have the excuse that they gave was weak enough. They said that they were gonna end it anyway. So all of a sudden, all these companies, just like the ones you mentioned below, all of a sudden they decided in 2025 they were gonna end it anyway. We know why they were gonna end it. They were gonna end it when Project 2025 came out. The Project 2025 program came out a year or two ago. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they were planning on ending it because they knew if President Donald Trump win, that they were going to have to toe the line for Donald Trump. It's not a coincidence that Target, Walmart, McDonald's, they all ended the same year. Were you telling me they all got together and decided they would? So everybody know that's an excuse. Number one, the daughters are still shareholders. They still have money invested
But it's not saying
in the
about
business.
money though.
No. I'm not telling you. No. Listen, Leo. I'm telling you everything that's in the that necessarily in the. I'm telling you the truth, and you need to go and look it up if you don't. If you think I'm lying, the daughters still have money invested in the company. The shareholders are investors. Those people who have invested money in the company, when that bottom line does not look good, people move. Target don't want these shareholders to move, so therefore Target will move in accordance to what their money dictates. That's how it works. So all the information is not exhaustively in this one article. I was bringing up Target to prove the fact that when people's monies hit people in their pocket, they move. Why? Because they have shareholders that they depend upon, and when those shareholders' bottom line is hit, there's a problem. Something got
all the articles are just repeating what the AP says.
No. Listen, Leo, you can't. I see the tactic you're trying to. You don't even know what all the articles say because you haven't read all the articles.
Where does it say anything about the stock market? That's what I'm asking. Where does it say anything about their price? And that's the reason. Because the way it sounded earlier is you saying the reason they're making these comments because they've been receiving pushback because people stopped buying. So they're making comments about the DEI rollbacks they've been doing. Consumers are not buying at Target anymore. It's affecting the shareholders' pocketbooks. That's why they're making comments. That's how it sounded earlier.
I tell you that because that's what's happening. Let's see. Because
I'm trying to read.
Y'all go ahead and talk. I'm gonna pull up what
because this is New York Post. I'm just trying to find them. I don't see anything about this. The reason they making these comments about the money, I don't see anything there. It's just they. I feel like they just are
I'm not
upset.
understanding. Be honest with you, I'm not understanding what you're looking for. I mean, be honest with you, as far as the money is concerned, why do you think the daughters were complaining?
Because I think they may be supporting that actual incentive because they say it's about the company's ideals.
So you don't. So you're saying it has nothing to do with Target losing money?
I don't think that's what the articles are saying. I think they're saying that
what happened. No, Leo. My arguing about what the article is saying in particular. I'm giving you an overall argument of how business works. Somebody asked me, said they don't think this is going to work. And I said, yes, it will work. Because once you hit the bottom, once you hit a company in its pocket, as far as money is concerned, it's going to affect their shareholders. I wasn't saying, and I was just using this as an example. But
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
But you're using this as an example to your point. I'm just saying if you're using this as an example of the daughters commenting that they're losing money because of the DEI rollbacks, people are not spending money with Target anymore. I don't see that in their comments or the articles that there's any connection of them losing money as a company. That's why these comments come out. I think they may have held
article is not an That article is not an exhaustive information about what's going on, brother. You have to listen. Let me put it to you like this, Leo. You have two sides to this story. You have people like you just saying you don't see it. They put out articles, and then you got other people who says yes, we see the movement, and they put out articles. Whose side are you on? And it's obvious which side you're on. You didn't catch what I said earlier today. We're not expecting all of y'all to participate, but if enough of us participate, it would be felt. And I said the criteria we used to not the only one, but the busing in the 1960s. When black folks decided not to give their monies to the local busing and people started share riding and this, that, and the other, that bottom line hit that company. And what did that company do? They responded. Now people keep on talking, whether they ain't gonna work, I don't know whether it's gonna work or not, but we're gonna try it, and we're doing it today. And here's another thing. You won't know whether it worked or not until a couple of days from now. And if it don't work, it don't work. But listen, we're participating. I'm participating. Y'all not participating. I can name the people on this channel who not gonna participate because I know y'all now. So we're not asking y'all to participate. But but like I just said, I had some questions for y'all about Trump and this, that, and the other. But every time I get a whole bunch of people on the panel asking me questions. But y'all go ahead. Because I'm gonna have to get out of here.
I'm ready for your questions. I would love, I know I tried to answer one earlier, but I would love your questions on kind of the positions, why we hold it, and I would love. Yeah, let's go into that.
I got classes I got to deal with. I got to go, man. I'm gonna have to get with y'all later.
Okay.
And when I come back, I'll have my questions ready.
All right, no problem at all. No problem.
All right.
I think we're telling y'all the effect of what they're gonna do more than hit like facts.
Go ahead, Pastor Mike.
Grace and peace, everybody. Just real quick, and I don't have long here. I just wanted to bring out a couple of points. My concern is with us as Christians, I think, being lulled to sleep by these worldly efforts. And here's what I mean by that. And I'm not speaking specifically towards anybody, so I don't want nobody to say nothing offensively. I'm talking about no individual. I'm talking about Christians as a whole. First and foremost, we got to remember that these DEI efforts, a vast majority or many of them, are in place to push LGBTQ into the world, into our school systems, into the workforces. And sometimes we act like, because it don't affect me personally, that we shouldn't be concerned about it as Christians. So we can We can support these initiatives and even boycott to bring these initiatives back, which to me is nonsensical. We boycott to bring these initiatives back. Yes, could it have been done in a better way? Sure. I certainly am not a Trump supporter and do not agree with many of his methods and things that he believes or stands for. I do not. I'm not a Republican. I'm certainly not a Democrat. Never, ever. That's like a cuss word. But anyway, but at the end of the day, even could he have done it better in a way that it may not harm as many people who may have gotten laid off because they worked to support these programs? Yeah, certainly. I'll admit to that. But I'm certainly not going to push to reinstate these sinful programs, right? Again, we as Christians, we have to look broader than our bank accounts. We have to look beyond, what impacts me personally. Hey, my money good. No, forget our money, right? It's about what's righteous. We're going to suffer in this life, right? And so I don't care. And then I want to just real quick hit on how nonsensical these boycott practices are. We will impact some of them to an extent. Yes, we will temporarily, if we do these boycott, I'm just saying, even I'm not even talking about the stats because it may not make much a difference at all. But even if we impact them, it would only be temporarily. It will only be a slight convenience. But here's what we don't understand. If you've got a 401k, if you've got a retirement plan, if your money is in any kind of IRA, any kind of mutual fund, then guess who else is going to be impacted when we impact their bottom line? Yours, because your 401k dollars going to go down because you're going to impact the Dow, the S&P. So it's like going in your own neighborhood when you mad, like some folks do, and riot and bust out the windows, right? You're going to impact your own stuff. And we are, let's show them black dollars matter. Ain't no such thing as black dollars. There's dollars. And then and again, our focus as believers should not be on this stuff. I agree with much of what Pastor Jay said. And we as Christians, we can't be lulled into a lot of this stuff. We just cannot. And again, the last point I'll say is this is what I mean by being lulled to sleep, right? Do you know that last year there was about close to 100,000 abortions a month? 100,000 abortions a month. It was up 11% from the year before. Over a million babies were aborted in 2024. But we don't care. I'm just being real with you. I will never, ever, and this is me personally. Now, I don't judge others. I'm not, if you voted for Kamala, if you voted for Trump, I'm not one that's going to throw a stone per se. I am going to say, for me personally, I will never push a program where 1 million, do you know? And let's make it about, and I do this as the Apostle Paul said, let me indulge folk in their folly. Let's make it about race for a minute. I'm going to indulge folk in their folly. It's more black children being killed in abortion than any other ethnicity. You want to talk about oppression on the black man? What about the black aborted man that never makes it into the world? Right? These systems, but they lull us to sleep because they shot us a little incentive, right? They shot us we got a $1,200 check, and we think they care about us while they're killing our babies, while they're impacting our communities, while they don't care the drugs in the neighborhood. And here's what Christians got to understand. They're going to be dictating how we preach and teach, because to speak against homosexuality, they're pushing for it to be a hate crime. They're pushing for it to be a hate crime now. If I get up on my pulpit and I say homosexuality is a sin, they're going to want to say that's a hate crime, and we're going to arrest you. You are pushing hatred. But we don't care. We so lulled to sleep because, hey, my money's right. They took my money. Man, look, you can have my money, you can have my house, if I have to compromise my godly principles in order to keep it. No, you can have it, right? But Christians are so dull. You got false teachers like William Murphy and all these other jokers that were irate when they overturned Roe versus Wade. But yet we dance to the pose on the backs of Black power, right? While they undergirding us with all this other stuff, while they putting in all these crabs, and we just sleep as can be, sleep at the wheel. Again, Obama got us. He came in, he wasn't against abortion, but then he evolved. I don't care what color the person is. I'm not voting for another Democrat as long as they push this nonsense. Now, that's me personally. You got to see God for your own conscience. I don't judge others. God gonna judge though, but that's between you and God. But it won't happen. So I yield with that.
Yeah, thank you for saying all that, Elder Mike. I agree, and the only thing I want to add is the things that you was bringing up is why they're pushing all this evil stuff. They move the public by acting as if
Come on, little mother. Come to the microphone, little mother. Hold on, Pastor Jay.
All right, no problem.
Let the church say amen. God has spoken. Elder Mike said everything that I was thinking. Definitely. Yeah. Ooh, I'm kind of late to the party. Bless greetings, grace and peace to everyone on the panel and who's gone before. Bishop Tim, I missed you. But yeah, unfortunately, we get sucked into this stuff, and it is because a lot of times we're still holding hands with the world, and our trust is not. We talk the talk of our trust being in the Lord, but that walk it doesn't always come across in how we conduct ourselves and walk out the word of God in our day to day. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that we are absent. We should be absent from things that's going on politically or within our communities. But we have to make sure that even when we are involved in those things, that we do it according to what the Word of God says. Because we clearly see in the scriptures that there were people who were believers who were still a part of the government. So, Elder Mike, I appreciate you for your words that you gave. You said it. That's why you're the elder. That's why you one of the elders. So that's all I have to say for now.
Can I jump in real quick? I know Keys is on. Keys, you want to say something?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to make a comment, and like I said, Pastor Mike already nailed everything. So in terms of all the subject matter we've been discussing, everything's on point.
Come on,
No
Pastor
need to
Jay.
further elaborate there.
This live coming down. We're out tonight.
Go ahead, Pastor Jay.
No, Detroit done spoke. Your presiding bishop done spoke. Shut your mouth.
I'm just letting you know, hey, he didn't. It's not a problem. But I just wanted to comment. I'll just say, for those that are bringing an Elder Tim, if you're relying on Roland Martin,
go ahead.
I do have footage. And if you ever want, I'll send it to you in the back chat. Roland Martin was pushing back against Target for even their initiative for $2 billion to support Black-owned businesses 3 years ago. So after this boycott, what is the expectation that Target is supposed to do? Is it only DEI? Because they was doing something. They were at least admitting to give $2 billion to Black-owned businesses 3 years ago. And Roland Martin was even pushing back against that. So what is the goal? If you're saying DEI is the goal, way back when they had an initiative and a plan, and even some of the Black leaders were pushing back against that. I'm just trying to understand, what is the actual plan and idea?
Yeah, the original reason why I jumped on is because I wanted to restate and make double clear something that I said yesterday, because it has come to my attention that some people fail to understand what I plainly said and have run off with rumors, associated me with the likes of John MacArthur, for example, in his teaching on the Antichrist and accepting the mark of the beast and all this other stuff. So let me restate it, and if anybody's confused, and feel free to ask me a question. let me start off by saying this plainly again. I do not believe you can take the mark of the beast and go to heaven afterwards. The reason for that is because in Revelation, when it talks about those who take the mark or worship the beast, is that the only people that does that, matter of fact, let me do this. If you share my screen, Leo or Marine, whoever can do it, put it on the screen here. So in Revelation 13 and verse 7, this is why I do not believe you could take the mark of the beast or worship the beast and go to heaven, because there's a requirement. All right, I got my screen share, but it's up to them to put it on for y'all. So I'm gonna just go ahead and read it. Revelation 13:7 saying the beast was allowed to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and he was given authority to rule over every tribe, people, and language and nation, meaning he would have governmental authority and influence. And all the people who belong to this world worshipped the beast. They are the ones whose names are not or were not written in the book of life that belongs to the Lamb who was slaughtered before the world was made. So in Christ warning the church of the persecutions that they were enduring in the future, our past at this point, but from the future when John gave it, about this Antichrist or this beast or man of sin that would rise up, that would persecute them and exercise authority over them, but also over other nations, that only those who belong to this world would worship the beast. So the ones that didn't worship, that didn't belong to this world, and how we know who belongs or don't belong to this world. Remember what the Antichrist is, or the Antichrist spirit is. So in 1 John 4, it said, but if someone claims to be a prophet or does not acknowledge the truth about Jesus, that person is not from God, meaning what he teaches is not from God. He wasn't sent by the Lord. He's not a true prophet. Such a person has the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard is coming into the world and indeed is already here. All right. But you, some of the believers, belong to God, my dear children. You have already won a victory over those people, because the spirit who lives in you is greater than the spirit that lives in the world. These people, meaning the people who do not have the spirit of God, belong to this world. So they speak from the world's viewpoint, and the world listens to them or receives their teachings and doctrines as truth. But we belong to God, and those who know God listen to us, meaning the apostles' doctrine and the truth about Christ. If they do not belong to God, they do not listen to us, meaning believe the apostles' doctrine about Jesus Christ and him being the Messiah and Savior of sins, and being the perfect Lamb and coming in a human body and those things. They would not receive those teachings because they belong to the world. So when we go back to Revelation and it talked about this man or so, this beast that rise up and conquer God's people and exercise authority over them and other nations, become this world power. Only those who reject the message about Jesus Christ, who do not have his spirit, who have not overcome the evil one, etc., they're the only ones that's going to actually worship the beast or take this mark on their forehead, which has to do with their will and desires and thoughts, or on their hands, that also, or in their hands as well, that has to do with their deeds and their actions and their agreement with him, or the right hand of fellowship, as scriptures will show it. So only those who belong to his word, who disbelieve on Christ, align themselves with the beast. And all those who worship the beast is because their names ain't written in the Lamb Book of Life. So if any preacher says a person can worship the beast or take the mark of the beast on their forehead and hands and yet go to heaven, that's a false doctrine. It's heresy. So I do not believe that. So anybody running away with the thing that I did say, because the question I was asking me yesterday about showing respect, all right, or giving honor where honor is due, and I give you an example of the president and saluting and stuff like that. That is not me. That I kept saying it over and over yesterday. Showing respect to a world leader or somebody in authority does not mean I'm in alliance with him or agree with all the evil things that he pushes, or in this case, specifically, the Antichrist that would be a world power. So that's why I also said, even though it's the Antichrist, the man of sin that opposes Jesus Christ, rejects the good news, say Jesus Christ ain't the Messiah, say he's the Savior, say that Jesus Christ ain't coming in a literal body, etc. Even though that's what he preaches from a religious standpoint, he still has governmental authority. So the things that are implemented that are not against God's law, we ought to listen and obey. The things that are against God's law, we are to reject and suffer the persecution that come along with that. But if they were to walk past me because this man of sin is a regular human being. He's not a glowing figure that came from out of the sky. He's a regular human being who had a mama and a daddy that came into the world, who's an agent of Satan. And he's a governmental power. So even though you see them, you're still a respect in the sense of just because this is an antichrist, that don't mean I am allowed to slander him, or I'm allowed to rob this man because he's the antichrist, or I'm allowed to slap him across the face and spit in his face because he's the antichrist. I don't have that right. So even concerning the antichrist, even now, there's many antichrist people in the world right now that y'all submit to and show respect to, even if you disagree with their corruptions. Like Trump, he has an antichrist spirit. All right. And so even though that's the fact of regardless his spiritual state, all right, and who he's really serving, all right, because like I said, no leader or king or ruler or president or whatever that actually truly fears God, or nation that truly fears God, would ever allow religious tolerance and idols to be openly worshiped in the land, because they fear God and they know what God said in his commandments about the lands that allow for that. So that's how we know this nation ain't really a Christian nation. But nevertheless, despite the fact of their hypocrisies, using the name of Christ and supporting Israel just to keep themselves safe when they don't really fear God, they think their monies and gifts gonna keep them safe, but that they ain't. But nevertheless, despite the fact when you see them, you show respect. And when they order you to do something that is good, you obey. So that's a difference of showing respect or honor that I was talking about yesterday versus somebody saying you could take the mark of the beast, which for believers who have the Spirit of God, that's impossible for you to do because you don't belong to this world.
I hear you, Pastor Jen.
Can I ask a question? Because earlier, before Pastor Jay spoke, Elder Mike had brought up something about the black people leading in abortions, and I want to question that narrative real quick, because if we're 13% of the nation, so I look at it like this: either it's a great demonic miracle that 13% of the nation can lead in abortions, or it may be propaganda that we have picked up along the way that we have carried too. Because in order for that to happen, that means every black woman, including Berea's sister, would be lined up at the abortion clinic to get those numbers. And it's a small percentage of black women getting abortions. I believe that those numbers are fudged. I believe that the numbers represent what we see is why they want to get rid of the abortion, is because there's a certain demographic whose numbers are decreasing. So I want to know how do you relate that to somebody that looks at the numbers and say that mathematically that's not possible? Are you going to try to convince them that that's a demonic miracle?
The numbers are what they are, bro. You know, they just are. And that's what makes it so. This is the whole problem, my brother, because we are the minority in terms of African Americans, yet we make up a vast majority of the abortions.
But what I'm saying is in order to get those numbers, you will have to include more women who are not getting abortions into those numbers to get
That's absolutely not true. Women have multiple. The same woman can have multiple abortions, and
I agree.
That's what's occurring. So we don't need to multiply the women when you understand that these same women are getting pregnant and having abortion after abortion.
And I just believe those numbers are fudged.
And listen, you could be right, but here's the issue. All you have is a feeling.
Not a feeling mathematically, because you haven't made that make sense mathematically. And this is where I can introduce the science.
Because have you done a research on the numbers?
Yeah.
But even let's say this, brother. Even let me just yield your point. Let's say you are absolutely right. And out of the over 1 million babies that were aborted last year, they weren't mostly black, and that's just some kind of narrative. And let's just say they were mostly white or some other ethnicity. It's still just as wicked. So I only use the black because that's what most folk in here get excited about. They don't care about it unless it affects black folk. I don't care if it was 90% Europeans and 10% blacks. The wickedness is the same. So let's just say you're right. Let's roll with your feeling. The numbers are skewed. This is not mostly blacks. it's still over 1 million people getting killed. So my disdain for it doesn't change.
So what I understand that, but what I'm saying is that when you're going to use the numbers like that, and I deal with numbers, that's what I went to school with, and basically the argument in your simplest form just doesn't make sense mathematically for you to even state that without coming and.
I'll let you have that point. I'll let you have it, even though I think you're wrong. I'll let you have it. It doesn't change the truth behind what I said. My anger and frustration is not because it's mostly blacks. It's because it's people created in the Imago Dei. And so I don't lose. It's not like I feel a little bit better because it's not really mostly blacks. I feel a little bit. I don't feel any not 1% better because God created all of the human race. So I don't lean, like, hey, if white men suffer, I don't have a bigger problem with it. Listen, abortion is murder, and it's impacting humanity. That's my issue. So that makes sense. Okay, I don't agree with you. I think you need to do the research on the facts, blah, blah, blah. But I don't even care about none of that. I grant that you might be right on the numbers. And maybe it's not mostly blacks. But bro, it don't change the wickedness. And that's the point.
I got a question. So based on the argument that the numbers are skewed, what would be the point in skewing the numbers to say that blacks are leading in abortion if they're not really leading? Like, what would be the point of putting that kind of narrative out?
Conspiracy.
To keep you at the same 13% that we've been 13% the whole entire time.
Conspiracy.
Because that's the only. Because if you think about it, that would take a lot of black women, just not even within the age range of, let's say, the youngest is 16. That would have to be, or if the cutoff point is 16 to 25, do you know how much sexing that is and abortions that is to lead the way? You would actually have to have that mathematically to make it make sense, a more broader range of black women, which would actually have to even include Berean's sister.
So, wait.
As in age, what I'm saying, because for that to make.
Keys, they're using per capita data. You know what per capita data is, right?
It's a round figure.
But I mean, that's what the data they're using.
But if there is per capita the actual numbers though, because my thing is you have to keep you and I would say that would help keep you at a 13% if that was true.
But what I'm saying is so let's say the numbers are all the numbers that we publicly got, right? All manipulated numbers and not true, right? So the reality is we more than 13% or maybe less than that, or when it comes to abortions, not really leading in abortions. My thing is okay, if that's not the truth, if we're not really leading in abortion, what would be the point in someone manipulating numbers to say blacks are leading in the abortions? Like, what would be the point? Because the way I'm seeing this is either one, from an evil perspective, they could be doing that to paint black people in a evil light when they're really not getting that many, even though there are some that we can't deny, and that's bad in itself. But
I'm not saying we can't deny it.
Be bad, but also from the other standpoint, because we all should know as believers that whatever a man does for his evil purposes, God has a purpose that is good in it. So what would be the point of God to allow for numbers to be inflated, that people who, for their evil purposes, inflated the numbers to make black people look worse by saying, y'all leading the charge in abortion, y'all a bunch of little murderers. But what would be God's point in allowing them to do that? That is good. Maybe perhaps with this inflation of number, it may scare or turn black people away from going it, because the point of the inflation number is to highlight y'all. And the fact he is killing people. So maybe, possibly, dang, leading the charge like that, maybe somebody be like, having second thoughts about even murdering their kids. I'm just throwing it out there because the Lord always has, even if we don't know it in the exact moment, there's always a holy reason as to why God allows even evil to take place. And we got plenty of examples of that. So So it's like, oh, the numbers inflated. Yeah, but you can look beyond that. There's a point as to why somebody would lie and inflate numbers. That has nothing to do with the numbers itself.
Fear.
Fear
Just
what?
like the Egyptians would fear, they used to fear the Israelites. The same way these people fear. You don't think they fear us? This fear.
My question,
This fear. This fear.
do y'all feel
So you
better
believe we
about
thought?
abortion?
Hold on, let me talk. He made perfectly sense. You hear what he said?
Who
How
cares?
make the numbers line up? Y'all ain't thinking about making the numbers line up.
I
Make
got a
it
question.
line up.
Do y'all feel better about abortion? No, do y'all feel better about killing babies if they're not black?
You already know my answer about that. I don't support abortions at all.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm saying
So
the numbers,
we
what
really,
he's saying about the
we really
numbers,
just
it make
talking
it
semantics,
true.
right?
Because I know so many women, and every woman, I know so many black women in my neighborhood that they get an abortion. But if the numbers true, that make them got an abortion and they haven't.
But
Thank
that's
you.
the point that I'm
Thank
making.
you. And you would have to include more women to
I can
make
go to
those
these
numbers
project
accurate.
doors right
Brother,
now. And hold on, let me talk.
Let
I
Leo
can go to the
explain per capita.
project doors right now. These mama got 4, 5, 6 children. Where the abortion coming at? Where?
Y'all will be surprised at the number of people who have had an abortion and have been very quiet about it. And that's a fact.
Right. But
you telling me they get an abortion every month?
Let Leo explain.
Like I said, you'd be surprised the way people around here.
In the projects,
I'm just saying, you would really be surprised, Israel Descent. There are a lot of people that are around here that don't want professional people, regular people, unprofessional people. It is something that's happening.
Man, I don't even know too many men even support abortions. Even though they gonna be deadbeat fathers, they ain't even trying to even hear nothing about abortion. You talking about abortion, they get ghosts on you. I ain't got no money for you.
And I'm coming from a standpoint of men who done had sex with no protection, that
and
didn't
I'm
even
coming
know
from-
that the girl was pregnant, and she went ahead and she got an abortion.
And how many of them can afford it on their own?
Are you saying abortions are expensive so they can't get them?
I'm looking at it from the point of view of what I see every day in my neighborhood. Most of these girls can't even pay $13 worth of rent. Like, come on, be serious. In these projects, they got 4, 5 kids.
Israel said there's Planned Parenthood in black neighborhoods.
But
So
you're
what you're
making
saying is
every
going
black
against
woman have an abortion. That's what I'm saying.
No, Israel saying you're saying they can't afford it, but what I'm saying is in the narrative in black neighborhoods and urban neighborhoods, there's a Planned Parenthood.
And that ain't true in all, but that is not true in all urban neighborhoods.
So now the narrative about black folks not having fertility clinics, but Planned
I'm just
Parenthood
saying, you got to prove that 75% of every neighborhood having abortions. That's crazy.
Yeah, to get those
wild.
numbers, you would have to have it rapid back to back to back to back to back. Just like if you're gonna bring 12 million people over here, them boats got to come over here so rapidly, like back to back to back to back to back.
Where are you getting that idea from? That's what I'm saying. Like,
what I'm saying
what
is
your,
this:
what is your baseline? What is your baseline number? What is your baseline number? Like you deal with mathematics.
This argument is totally based on us being at 13%. Now, if we're 13%, so hold on,
what
13% of
almost over
13% of the nation, of the total population.
Yes.
In order,
How much is that?
So the total population, I'm thinking we're like around 360 something million, maybe within that area. You said 13%?
Yes, around close to 40 million.
About 40 million. In order for that to happen, you would have to have a lot of black women.
To happen? For what to happen?
For us to lead in that category. That would of total abortions in the country. And that's
by what metric? Per capita data, raw data, which one? You deal with mathematics.
Raw data.
It's not raw data. Where are you getting?
What I'm saying is if you take the numbers, Leo, if you take the numbers of African American women in the country, because they the only ones that get for African Americans and black people, they the only ones that can have the abortions. So if you take that, at what rate does someone between the age of 16 and 25, and I'm just giving that as a round estimate,
It's
area.
the portion is 15 to 44. If you're looking at
15
the
to,
Pew Research
15
data,
to 44.
if you're
At
looking at the
what
Pew Research
at
data, that's where they're getting the numbers
what
from, most
rate
likely.
are they? At what rate are they sexting and going to have those abortions that would lead to that number that you're totally that was thrown out there?
What number was it?
It wasn't a number. It was based off of this narrative that black people just out here screwing like rabbits.
But I'm trying to showcase. I'm trying to understand
I mean,
what
that's
is your
basically what it
foundation.
is.
But you're
But
saying
I
that
can
Because
basically,
if you're gonna
prove
say
they
that,
wrong.
where are
then that
you getting it
means
from? I'm asking you, where are you getting it from? Like, example, you're saying there's a
you have.
number out there. What
I'm
number
saying
is it?
what I'm saying is that argument was based off of an old argument trying to say that black people screw like rabbits. And if that's the case, either you agree with it, or my thing is break it down to let us know at what rate does a black woman have to screw like a rabbit for that number to exist. And if you're not going to do that, then
What
you know
number are you talking about?
that's the number you have to come up with. I don't have to come up with that because
No,
you're
no,
using that
you're
as a
saying,
hidden argument.
no, you're saying that the number is flawed. So I'm trying to understand when they're saying that 42% of all women who had abortions in 2021 were non-Hispanic blacks.
I believe
What number is that? What number is
Elder. So what I'm saying is that the simplicity of Elder Mike's statement, I believe that was flawed in a way, and it's kind of skewed to keep us at 13%, or to make us look like we just out here messing like jack
Based
rabbits.
on
And these,
what you have? Yeah, I'm trying to qualify what you're saying with where you're getting that from.
hold
You're
on,
How
saying that
much the
you're saying
what was the
you're saying
percentage size
you
that
said
you talking
no,
about?
wait. You're saying 13% of the population is black of the United States. Then you're
right.
saying that number of abortions is skewed because of your qualifications of the amount of age-bearing women in the black population. We had to be screwing like rabbits to meet that number. I'm trying to say, what number are you basing that off of?
Off of the premise that Elder Mike said that abortion I thought he said black abortions in the black community is leading the nation in all abortions. Now, if I'm wrong, forgive me, but that's pretty much word for word what was pretty much stated, and that in itself is a trope against black people that we've always fought against. I don't think black people are sexting and having abortions at no quicker rate than that.
Got you. So sexing,
I just
fine.
don't believe that, because you have to, in order for you to convince me of that, you're gonna have to tally up more numbers than just the overall answer than what these people came. That's for me to see it. That's why when your argument with DEI, when you asked what was the percentage of who benefits from it, and Elder Tim didn't want to answer it, that's because you would have to go into it and say that white women were the beneficiaries of it, which was the beneficiaries of affirmative action, and which are the beneficiaries of most of these abortions.
Got you. But can I say this real quick? You're saying that the numbers must be inflated. I'm trying to understand at least the crux of your argument. What would be inflating the numbers?
You had an abortion, you'll be in that
Yeah.
number too. You don't think
But I'm
you'll
saying
be in that percentage?
No. What will be inflating it? Like you're saying they are inflating it. What is inflating?
Yes.
So you're saying that there are not that many abortions happening, or like
Yes, that's
what
what
is
we
inflating?
said. It's not
Because
that.
wait. Keys understands mathematics. So if he's saying we're going with that, we gotta go with statistics now. So you understand
Yeah.
statistics. There's variances, outliers, all these. What is inflating it? So the numbers are wrong. When you have bad data, you don't use any of the data. You have to start over again. So where are you getting the idea?
So I'm looking at so when I brought up months ago that the Pew Research says that we have grown tremendously.
No,
So
they don't.
that argument, hold on, that argument in which was stated earlier is based off of us being 13% of the nation. And with the Pew Research, when we brought up that argument about how the black community is grown, it was a lot of surprised eyes in here, bro. A lot. And then you would be surprised that black fathers are the most in their child's lives.
Facts.
And if you're gonna use this in the pulpit to talk to black people, it's almost a form of, to me, it comes off at times as ignorance to it or self-hate through Christianity.
Okay, I'll correct that in a second. So I'll just say this to fix the issue here. The data sources that we have by Pew Research, the U.S. Census, there are things that showcase the amount of people we have here, as well as the data for abortions. You will see with overwhelming certainty that the black population for the last 20 years have led in abortions.
Now,
There are
ain't that just
multiple.
New York
No, that's not New York. Where are you getting that from?
on this paper that's on the
It
screen?
says in the District of Columbia, New York, but not the rest of New York, and 31 states.
That reported on.
Yeah, come on, bro. We got let's just read, bro. But I'm saying, like, when we read the data, there's also mentions that you see the CDC is referenced here. It's not just one source that they're getting all of this data. When you understand the statistics, there are specific data sources you have to use, even dealing with analytics. These are the data sources that they have the information. The CDC has the information. The U.S. Census has the information. Pew Research has the information. So
Of
to say that
31
their data
states
is bad,
participating.
to say their data is bad, you have to showcase another data set or the variances in the data. To say it just don't look right, you got to show me the data. You got to go into the data itself to prove the inconsistencies in it. Showcase the outliers. Oh, wow, look, they've inflated this city in Detroit. I mean, in Michigan. Oh, look, they inflated this city in Chicago. You got to prove that. You're just deducing it based on, well, I'm making these numbers work in my head. You got to show that. They got the data sources you can go research and look into.
Okay. So 42%. That's a lot.
Yeah, grace and
That's
peace. So I think that's the impasse right now, is just getting the data. So I see Pastor Mike got all. I don't know if Pastor Jay's here. I just I see little mother's here. I don't know if she's still available.
Hey, I'm gonna hop off and hop back on in a little bit. I got to get ready for work, but I'll try and get back on probably in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
If that's no problem, I'll be listening. And if anything, you know what I mean, is addressed directly to me, I definitely, would love to try to come back on. And I just need to get a couple things together.
All right. Yeah.
And that's the problem with you Pentecostals, Berean. You never start on time. This was supposed to start at 10 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, Leo, you remember? So I just want to, cause I saw with the conversation, right? I just wanted to circle back to something I brought up, right? I don't know if you're still there, Leo.
I'm right here. I just jumped back.
So with the civil rights movement, right? We discussed yesterday, and I'm assuming that a lot of people would say America's not a Christian nation, right?
Right.
With Christian nationalism, there's two prevailing thoughts that I've seen: theonomy, which is just Christian domination, and a populist movement, to where you're speaking against the elites and more so trying to push forth an agenda or view, with laws and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm proposing, for what I'm seeing with the second definition being a populist movement, the civil rights movement, right? Now, I ain't got my videos up. It goes into the civil rights movement. Was it fueled by communism or Christian values, the Bible, right? If you say that it was just fuel or a combination, but what more of? If you're saying it's communism, there's another conversation, right? But if you're saying it's fueled by Christian values, and there are minority groups speaking towards the issues, then to me, there's an argument in the community that the civil rights movement is a Christian nationalist movement, being that they're trying to change the laws to affirm Christian values, biblical values. That's not the status quo of America. Just like with the temperance movement when they outlawed alcohol, there was an appeal towards Christian values about drunkenness, sobriety, things of the sort. With abolition, uses of scripture, the Imago Dei, all those kind of stuff. Those are Christian values. Those are Christian views. So with the civil rights movement, someone correct me. That's just what I'm proposing. I see it as it's another form of Christian nationalism. Maybe not theonomy so much, but it is a populist movement. You just want some feedback towards that. Pastor Jay, or I don't know who jumped on. Leo.
I mean, I see what you mean. I won't engage in it right now. I know other people may have. I know the other brother that came on yesterday, the elder. He may want to comment. He had his hand up, so go. He want to engage what you do to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You have the mic.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll do some pushback on that. As far as America, or the inception of America, or the American experience, America's value has never been centered around what they classify as Christian values or Christendom. It's been about the expansion of racism, white supremacy in the Western Hemisphere as it relates to economics, education, entertainment, politics, sex, war, religion, labor, and law. Within those major 9 areas, these people that classify themselves as white, that sit at the top tier of those that control 95% of the U.S. resources, but 85% of the world's resources, agenda has nothing to do with Christianity. It's been about forging and pushing the ideology and the systematic control of those major 9 areas that I pointed out in order to give unrestricted access to those major 9 areas to those people that classify themselves as white.
Okay, with that, what does that have to do with what I presented about Christian nationalism and the civil rights movement and things of that sort? I'm trying to follow, because you're affirming that America is not a Christian nation, which that's part one of the premise. So I'm not trying to say how to go tie it further.
Well, when you say tie it further, what do you mean? Do you believe that Black Christian nationalism is equal to so-called white Christian nationalism?
What do you? It doesn't. With what I'm saying. Hold on. With what I'm saying, it doesn't matter about Christian, Black or white Christian nationalism, right? It's dealing with is a civil rights movement a Christian nationalist movement? That's the crux.
No, I'm not saying it's the crux. You're saying that that's your
exactly.
opinion.
So I presented something, brother. I said, hold on. I didn't cut you off, brother. I presented something.
But you're cutting me. I didn't cut you off. And I'm
trying to explain it to you. You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying that that America's not a Christian nation, which you agreed with. Now,
correct.
I'm saying with the civil rights movement, right? Was it fueled by communism or Christian values? Is it fueled by Christian values, trying to change the law of this country? Is it a Christian nationalist movement?
Okay, now when I make my statement a rebuttal, you're not going to interrupt me, correct?
No, sir. You have the mic.
Okay, so now see this is my antennas go up when I hear a statement equating or assuming that the civil rights was a Christian nationalist movement and or was it communist. Well, I'm in my late 60s. I'm almost 68 years, about 68 years old. Now, most people that talk about the civil rights movement and what it is and what it wasn't, most of those people weren't living at the time when that struggle and fight was taken on in America. I would say that the Black Christian value system or approach to racism, white supremacy was if I was to believe in all of that, would be more Christian than white nationalism and or the promise or the premise that America's values stand on. You see, because black people at that time, or those that was in the civil rights movement, the leaders of the civil rights movement, they didn't bomb no churches, no white churches in the South. They didn't run up and browbeat and kick down people's doors and ran them off their land. My people are from Mississippi and Mobile, Alabama. My mothers and my uncles and my great grandmother and grandmother fled Mississippi and Alabama to the west, to Chicago and to Los Angeles under the guise of terror, under a system that claimed to have separation of church and state and Christian values.
Do to me, you
Now,
say
as
that?
far as this abortion thing,
I didn't want to cut him off. I'm just listening.
but as far as this abortion thing, in the ratio, in the peer view and or per capita numbers, see, they take a young man, particularly. I noticed this probably about 10 years after the Vietnam War, that the men that were put on the front lines or were given infantry duty and service duty in operations and logistics were particularly uneducated white men and black men or black soldiers. 17, 18, they ask you what's your religion. You can claim or classify yourself as any religion you want. But by the time you finish basic training in AIT, they send you over the seas to kill, to take lives. Young lives, old lives, women's lives, children's lives. That's what they do. And then they bring you back and have a parade for you and slap some medals on you and call you a hero. Taking a life is taking a life, whether it's in the exception of creation and or as it's matriculating, trying to become a self-sufficient, free-thinking human being. So if we look at the wars that are going on today, and even the World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, nobody spoke up about that or spoke out against that other than Martin Luther King and those that was in the civil rights movement. And I still believe that speech that he gave regarding and his statements regarding the Vietnam War is what led to the expedient but the assassination of Martin Luther King. Because I lived it and I was there.
When he gave those speeches, whatnot, did he use Bible and Christian values, or did he use the laws of mind?
Brother, what are Christian values? No, I'm asking you a question. Since you've been asking questions, I'm asking you a question. What
are I just came on the platform. I presented my premise.
But Elder, he asked you a question. Hold on, Elder.
What are Christian values to you?
But hold on, Elder. He did ask you a question first. Just you don't want to answer a question with a question.
No, I'll answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the first premise that I asked, right? I'm still trying to understand your viewpoint. You said from what I remember, you then asked who did more, black Christian nationalism or white Christian nationalism, right?
No, I said which one is. Let me tell you what I said. I said, is white Christian nationalism, is black Christian nationalism more effective and potent than black Christian nationalism if either or exists?
Okay, the crux of what I asked, that's not really dealing with it. We can talk about that, right?
Well, I'm trying to tell you a rebuttal, brother.
Can I? You can have the mic. But the question is the civil rights movement a Christian nationalist movement? Being that it's a populist movement by a minority to change laws that coincide with Christian values, like Amos 9, let the rivers of justice flow, turn the other cheek, things of that sort, right? You're asking for nonviolence, right? The equality of all men. All men are made in the imago Dei, the image of God.
Yeah, I know what the imago Dei means.
Okay, so with that, how would you understand it? Because that's why I asked, if you're going to say that it's skewed more by communism, then that kind of takes it out. But what's the
I didn't say it was skewed by communism.
I didn't say.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you did. I said if you say it is. If you say it is. So, is the civil rights movement, was it fueled more by? What was it fueled more by?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what it's fueled more by. It was fueled more by addressing and trying to minimize the unjust system that the people at that time were faced with under a three-branch government, judicial, legislative, and executive branch, that claim that in their constitution that all men are created equal and endowed with inalienable rights by their creator, not the creator, but their creator. So it was fueled by the injustices, the murders, the lynching, the tar and feathering, and the disenfranchisement of those people that were classified as Negro, colored, and or black at the time. So my position is this: I'm collectively unified with anyone that is trying to minimize this miserable system that is fork-tongued and double-talking in its experiment of Western expansion, but at the same time victimizes those people that they classify as non-white. Look at the separation of church and state. There's no such thing as separation of church and state. The church is married to the state, and the state is married to the church. If it wasn't, how do you get how do churches and organizations of any religion? I don't care whether it's Christianity, Islam, Methodism, or Pentecostal, Baptist, Episcopalian. They all have 501c charters filed with the state in which they operate in, and they get tax dollars. They pay no taxes on the funds that they take in through for whatever upstreams or downstreams of finance. So the church is married to the state, and the state is married to the church under the umbrella of the system of racism, white supremacy, as it operates within education, entertainment, politics, sex, war, religion, labor, and law.
Can you prove that with some sources?
Yes, I can prove that. We wouldn't be having this discussion if it's not provable.
No, can you prove it with some sources?
We would.
I'm saying,
I can prove it.
where can we? I'm saying, like, I want to look it up right now. Can we look it up?
We would not have need for brother. We're the very essence, and we're the very descendants of those people. We don't have to look up a damn thing.
No, but you're saying,
you're saying we would not be having this conversation if this was a clear, perfect union. Is this a clear, perfect union?
Yes, sir.
Is this a clear, perfect union? These United States?
In what?
Of these United States.
In what?
And what it says in the preamble to the Constitution.
In clarification, when you say perfect in what?
Perfect in the sense that justice, that all men are created equal and endowed with inalienable rights by their creator for the pursuit of happiness, freedom, liberty, and justice. Is that what America is about as we speak right now?
Good question. Great question.
Bring it out, brother. Tell me.
Oh, sorry, I'm listening to something from that. I'm
listening to these panels that's on these platforms. We're not even be having these discussions, nor with what's going on with Doge and with the USDA and the Department of Education and banning books. Those things would not even be happening if the evidence or the proof of what I'm saying did not exist. I don't got to go look up in no damn book.
But that's the point, though. You can't prove it. You're just talking. You're just talking. Can you show me right now?
I can't prove it. Okay, I can't prove it. Okay, I can prove it this way. I can prove it this way.
What I need to read to learn what you're saying?
What? No, brother. You know that's your job. I know it. I know.
But that's the point, though. That's the showcase. A good teacher teaches and shows you where he learned this from.
I am rebutting your argument.
What is my argument? What is my argument? Can you articulate my argument? What is my argument?
Let me ask you this, because you're asking the question. Let me ask you a question, because you haven't answered any question I asked.
I just said it.
Do you believe that racism, white supremacy exists?
Yes.
Okay, give me your best example, functional example, by observation or through literature or through hearing or seeing an example of racism, white supremacy?
I can see it in redlining.
Okay, redlining. Who controls redlining?
It was based on your. I mean, HUD does. There are multiple different facets to it.
No, not the organization. The people. Organization comes out of the minds of men.
But the organization has bylaws you have to adhere to. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What I'm talking about? What are you talking about?
You're saying the people.
Okay, let me ask you this.
It has bylaws. What are you talking about?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, since you seem to be abated. Is there such thing as hold on? Is there such thing as white supremacy?
I do believe there is some white supremacy. Yes.
Okay, some. Okay, is there such thing as black supremacy?
Yes.
Okay. So you said there's some white supremacy and black supremacy. Would you say that racism, that black supremacy controls economics, education, entertainment, politics, sex, war, religion, labor, and law, directly and indirectly, that affects those people that classify themselves as white daily within their lives, within those major 9 areas? Is there anything that you or I do, or people that look like you and I do, control those major 9 areas that affect those people that classify themselves as white?
Yes,
so you see,
various different facets.
No.
So you asked me a question. Let me answer this.
Yeah.
So there are various different facets. So you mentioned 9. Those qualifications ask for people that are black in those areas. A perfect example: if you are a part of a specific group that you are black and you are in those sects and you agree with that, you have control over it. Perfect example: Roland Martin wants to push for that in the entertainment sphere. Does he not? Want black voices in the entertainment sphere? Does he not? I'm giving clarification. I'm giving clarification.
I can't speak for Roland Martin.
But that's the point. You saying prove it. There are various different aspects to this, because we're talking about supremacy. They want black voices and control of those 9 that you mentioned. I don't agree with all those 9.
They who?
The people that support black supremacy.
Brother, what color is the White House? What color is that house they call? What color is that house? Is that the black house or the White House?
Now we going on. I'm answering your question. Now we going to another part.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you believe there's such thing as reverse racism?
It's very possible, yes.
What is forward racism then? If there's reverse racism, what is forward racism?
I think that's a flawed argument. It's just racism.
Okay, so no, it's not a flawed argument. If it was a flawed argument,
but reverse racism is when someone is reacting to someone being racist.
We're getting off topic.
We've been off topic. Is it the same?
Wait, hold on. You and I haven't been over this.
Marine said, "Let him go."
Either racism, white supremacy exists, or it doesn't. What real racism is, you can start bringing slaves from 1555 all the way up until the latter parts of the 18th century. By 4th century, and displace them from their land all through the Caribbean and into the English.
Wait. What are we talking about?
Hold on. Don't interrupt me, brother. I didn't interrupt.
No. I'm trying to understand where we're going, because this is a channel. This is a channel that's not just for your diatribes. Where are you trying to?
No, this is not no diatribe.
You're preaching.
Yes, preaching. What are you trying to get to?
What I'm trying to get to is that I believe not all, but I believe the new type of thinking of some of these so-called black people that choose to try to dissect. And I'm not a Democratic nor am I Republicans, to let you know. Get that off first. Is that it's a new type of voter bloc that is, and I don't know where they're getting their funding from, but I'm quite sure I can find out where their funding comes from. Is that somehow they jumped on this bandwagon of conservatism or the MAGA agenda, and trying to splice or trying to juxtapose one party or one issue against the other issue based on their party affiliations or based on their theology. As long as we have been, even after slavery, with slavery.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead, Pastor Jay.
Yeah, we should know that in every facet of life, all those things they entertainment, all that. Both blacks and whites equally share in the demise of one another and their different community groups by the things that they do within those realms. So to try to push it as if there's the, just because, for example, the white person might have built the business or the organization and then hire some black people, just because they're the owners of it, it doesn't mean that the black people don't affect those above them or beneath them. So, the argument in the question that he was asking you when he was asking what people is because he's trying to, they're trying to push that this one racial group of people that they're the ones that had the power to affect everybody in entertainment and blah, 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 blah. And that's simply not true. Even if the person built the business, every person involved who joins their hands with them affect everyone. This is why there's the one who does evil, then there's the ones who align themselves with it. So so in entertainment, it's the same thing. Yeah, it might have been, let's say it was a Jewish man who started Rockefeller Records. Let's say that might have actually been the case, but I'm just making it up right now because I don't know for sure. Let's say it was a Jewish person who because he wanted to destroy the black race. So, he starts Rockefeller Records, and then he hires some guys to run the finance department and the public, the PR department, all this stuff, whether it be black or white. And then, you start hiring black artists because they're trying to take down the black community, and the black community is going to be slow to receive white artists that rap and do hip hop and all these other things, but they'll be quick to receive their own. So let's hire their own to make the music that would then inspire them to spiral out of control and continue to do evil things. And so you can't make your argument about, well, it was the Jewish man, he started it. He don't do the raps. You do the raps. So you're the one that's affecting the black people. You're affecting the white people who join on today. You affect